I believe that God has called us to live a life that makes an impact. The 6 things that Paul lists for Timothy, the first thing that he says is this: Timothy, be an example to the believers in word. Be an example to the believers in word. In the words that you speak, Timothy, be an example. In the words that you speak, be an example. When we change our environment, our words sometimes change, the kind of words that we speak. And have you noticed? The words that we speak in church may not be the words that we speak when we move out of church, maybe in the workplace, maybe at home, when we are ourselves, the words that we speak. And Paul is exhorting Timothy to be an example because people are watching. People are hearing the words that we speak. So he's saying, be an example in the words that you speak. And the second one that he says is this: be an example in conduct, in your behavior, the way you live your life. St. Augustine, one of the early church fathers, he put it this way. He said, preach the gospel, and when necessary, use words. It's Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. Paul writes and he says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It says, be transformed. How? By the renewing or the reforming or the reshaping of your mind. So many times we try to change our behavior, how we live, without changing our thoughts, what we think about, what we meditate on. Because what we think about, what we are full of, what we make space in our mind for, that we end up doing. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And thirdly, we see that in love, we are called to be examples in love. And Jesus quoted these couple of verses in one when the lawyer asked him, what is the greatest of the commandments? In Matthew chapter 22 and verses 37 to 40, he went and he wanted to test the Savior, and he said, what is the greatest of the commandments? So Jesus said, he quoted from Deuteronomy 6 and verse 5 and also Leviticus 19 and verse 18, and he says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And the second is like it, that you will love your neighbor as yourself. And fourthly, we are called to be examples in spirit, in who we are, in our innermost beings. Out of our innermost beings, we are called to be examples. Now, there are many things that you can, that we can share about this, but I just want to mention a couple of things here. One is to be examples in our motives, which is why we do what we do. To be examples in our motives. We can do a great thing, we can do a noble thing, we can do the right thing, but what is our motive behind that? And the second one is also about our attitude. Our attitude. This is what we do while we do what we do. The first one is, why do we do the things that we do? And how we do it is the second one. How we do. And fifthly, we are called to be examples in our faith. Be examples in our faith. Faith in God is faith in what He has revealed in His Word. And we are called to be examples in faith. Hebrews chapter 11 lists the hall of fame of faith. It lists the heroes of faith, the many things that they accomplished, the many things that they did because of their faith in God, because of their trust in Him. And we are called to be examples. We are called to emulate their faith and be examples to others in the way we trust God, in the way we believe God, in the way we have faith in Him. And lastly, we are called to be examples in purity. We are called to be examples in purity, in the way we live our lives. Not too long ago, maybe a decade ago, there was this organization which did a research. I'm talking about an American context. So they did a research. Now they are known for making such researches. They are known for, studying the church and studying the believers and the Christians and so on. So they made this research and they came out with this finding. They studied the lives of believers, they studied the life of people who do not know God, and they came out with this report. They said, in the majority of cases, there seems to be no difference. There seems to be no difference. These people are saying the same things. These people are watching the same shows. These people are living the same lives. We are called to be examples in our purity.